The free time for the Dnow is, well, having done this for a lot of years, I have to say a lot of different ways that I've done it, and I can't say I prefer one over the other, but we've had group free time where the group has done something together where everyone goes off and does something. We've done small group free time where we've allowed the small groups to have their own free time and kind of think how they want to do it. Like we had one family, they had a tennis court. And so they used their free time for their small group to have some activities out on the tennis court. So we've tried it both ways, and I like them both. I think it's really up to the leader to decide what works best for them.
Ideally, with free time on a Dnow event, a mission or service project would be my go-to. In using a mission or service project that gives students an opportunity to bond together in community around service, which is a way that they can actually tangibly display the gospel in our community. And it also opens up students' worlds, because in a lot of our cities with a lot of our youth groups, we're so used to our church building and our church culture that we forget that a few miles down the road there are people that are hurting, and there are people that are in poverty, and there are people that need the gospel that sometimes in the midst of our Christian subculture we miss. And so in doing those mission projects for your Dnow, that opens up your students' eyes to another part of the world and another part of God's heart.
We have done big game free time, and we have let the individual small groups structure their own free time as well. I think large group structured free time worked out best for us. The kids all enjoyed getting together for just a couple of hours during the weekend, and we've done everything from kind of a soapbox derby where they had to make cars out of large refrigerator boxes and paint them and decorate them and run the track in them, and to different kind of relay games, and those went really, really well for us.
How I structure my free time during a Disciple Now weekend, it kind of varies. It varies from year to year. It varies on the kind of crew you have, the kind of kids you have. It also depends where you're doing it. If you're doing it off and you're not doing it in homes, then your structure may be a little bit different than if you are in homes. Because if let's say you're in Gulf Shores or you're in Panama City, you want to take advantage of the things that are around you. Whereas if you're doing it in a hometown type style, you'll want to create opportunities within your community to do service projects or to do things that, and you don't always have to do that, but I look at the scale of a student's year. How many times are they going to be involved in a project? And that depends on what your church is doing. They may be very missions minded. Something's going on all the time. But if your church isn't like that, then I take the role of saying, look, they need more opportunities, not less. I mean, they can have fun. They can do whatever they want to do anytime they want. But, for a weekend, if you're going to have them for a whole weekend, then I see my role as helping them engage in a different way they would not normally engage their community.
As far as free time goes during Disciple Nows, I don't like to have super structured free time, and there is a reason for that. When I was growing up in my youth group, a lot of times the free time that we had, it would be some big, messy relay outside or just something like that. And that's not to say that there's anything wrong with that. A lot of kids love it and they have fun doing it. What I like to do is I like to offer options for kids. I like to have something that's a little bit more structured, as well as during the same slot of free time, I like to have something that's completely unstructured. Obviously, leaders handling both things. The structured things being dodgeball, something like that. The unstructured, I like to just have rooms where kids can hang out together, do what they want to do, whether it's kind of like board games or cards or whatever. Specifically, last year when we did our Disciple Now, I saw some amazing things happen in the unstructured free time that completely, I think, validates why we do it the way that we do. I saw kids from completely different social groups hanging out together. They were sitting down, playing cards, laughing, and talking with one another. And it was just something that you don't see, and they especially don't see at school with all the cliques. Everything becomes so hard with the group breakdowns. So having that unstructured time allowed them just to do what they wanted to do, and it completely validated our push of unity, of preaching unity through that Disciple Now.
One thing that I think our youth group struggles with is just having unity between schools, between grades, between genders, and all those things. And so we really want to utilize that free time to unify the youth group, not around where they go to school, not around their grades, but around Christ. And so we just try to come up with some fun activities that just kind of get them hanging out and fellowshipping with each other, and just to come and have fun. You know, we really want them to worship, want them to study God's Word, and want them to have fun doing that. We also want to give them some time where they can just kind of chill and hang out with each other and have a good time during the weekend.